course.
Meanwhile, in other political news, former President Donald Trump's main Republican opponent, Nikki Haley, is heading into Super Tuesday on the heels of her very first historic primary win.
The former governor of South Carolina winning in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Trump still maintaining a lead against Nikki Haley in the delegate count, now at 244 to her 43.
Will there be a knockout blow Tuesday night? Despite Trump's lead, Haley insists she's staying in for the long haul and now says she might not even support the Republican nominee if she loses.
So you're no
Trump's
longer bound
daughter-in-law.
by that pledge?
No, I think I'll make what decision I want to make, but that's not something I'm thinking about.
Different GOP now.
So she dodged that question. Both candidates on the Republican side now look toward tomorrow's huge Super Tuesday with voters in 15 states, including Colorado, which we were just talking about, heading to the polls. And a total of 874 delegates, about a third of all Republicans, out for grabs.
All right, let's go over to Lawrence. Lawrence, let's dive into the polling.
Hey, good morning, family. So I want to bring your attention to different polling, but these first three are going to tell a similar story. Let's go to the Fox News poll right here. You got Joe Biden at 47% and Donald Trump at 49% amongst voters right now. And then you go over to the Wall Street Journal, a similar story. If the election were held today, from whom would you vote for? Donald Trump is leading with 47% of the vote. And then you go to the New York Times and that Siena polling. A similar story, but now the president, the former president, is leading the current president by 4 points with 48% of the vote. But this is the stunning news. When you go over to black supporters, which is a lot of contention right now with the Democratic Party, Donald Trump gets 23% of the black vote. That's up 19% from 2020. A game changer if the former president could do that. But this shocked everyone. When you look at Hispanic support, the Democrats have been pandering to the Hispanic community, saying open borders, that is what's going to win the Hispanic vote. But it looks like Donald Trump is getting 46% of the Hispanic vote. Alarms must be going off in the White House right now when you have all of these minority groups and when you look at the overall tally going to Donald Trump.
I wonder why that is. Do you think it's a lot of Cubans down in South Florida that know what it's like to live in a communist country? They came here the right way?
Wouldn't be enough.
I think just Hispanics at large are pretty conservative.
Many in Texas are seeing what's happening in your state.
Texas and Florida, and they don't like what's happening at the border. I think it's disrespectful to them because they did it the legal way. And then you have the black residents, when you look at the unemployment figures, it's hitting them, and they don't like what's happening at the border because it's being brought to Chicago, Harlem, Boston, all these areas where they once supported Democrats. They're taking over their community rec centers and schools.
Yeah, they're trying to do a jiu-jitsu on the border, and it's not going to work. At least the polls don't indicate that. I thought this was kind of cool and kind of interesting. More than twice as many voters believe President Biden's policies have personally hurt them, where 40% believe that Trump's policies have helped them. Right. So, wow, how devastating. Whatever you're doing, I don't know what the numbers say, but I think you're out to hurt me.
Border,
doubling my rent, and also when it comes to crime.
Yep, inflation, the border, and the crime.
Yeah, energy.
Yesterday, we were down in Florida, went to Publix, my favorite grocery store down there. A pound of bacon, the thick cut, was $12. Yeah. When you look at the Biden bacon index, it's not looking up. You know, we started this whole talking point talking a little bit about how tomorrow is Super Tuesday. It'll be interesting to see as you look at Joe Biden there. You know, who's going to be motivated enough to go out and vote tomorrow? Because right now it does look like it's going to be a Trump versus Biden matchup, like right there. But we started this by mentioning the fact that Nikki Haley won the D.C. primary yesterday, and her campaign put out a statement. I didn't realize that. But yesterday, Nikki Haley became the first woman to win a Republican primary in U.S. history. And it sounds as if the campaign is thinking that tomorrow, during Super Tuesday, they have a real good chance in Virginia, because the suburbs around Northern Virginia, around Washington, D.C., are very Haley-friendly.
I'll be interested to see what the number one issue, as y'all know, has been the border. And I mean, I don't think anybody was surprised by this. You got Raul Ortiz, the former head of the Border Patrol, says that he hasn't talked to the president at all about the border. He's now retired, but this is what he had to say.
conversation with the president or the vice president for that matter. And so I was the chief of the Border Patrol. I commanded 21,000 people. That's a problem.
So he worked under the Biden administration and is over that many people and never heard from the president
It's incredible.
or the vice president, who is the border czar.
So, look at these numbers right now. In terms of why 60 Minutes did the story, this is it. They didn't bring up this stat. I don't know why. We're supposed to get 8.1 million illegal aliens over here this year. In 2020, when Biden took over and had the 91 executive orders, many of which opened up the border, and his comments as a candidate saying, if you come to this country, we should be able to absorb you. Why not just surge the border? Started at 3.3 million. Look at where it is right now. And I'm watching the 60 Minutes piece and I'm saying, wait a second, this is like remedial border control. You're just talking about Hispanics. You want to make it between Texas and the federal government?
Yep.
This is the word that 60 Minutes used to use. Why is Texas doing what they're doing against federal government? Why didn't the federal government protect them? What choice did they have? And they never even brought up the busing to major cities. Meanwhile, you thought you might go for the solar plexus on that. Instead, they don't even bring it up, and they bring up, one of the comments was, do you realize this could be anti-Hispanic? If people look like me or you, royalties, maybe they're just going to pull us over. He goes, no, I can't pull somebody over because of how they look. It's what they did.
Did they just miss the whole week of coverage that
They
we just
did.
did at the
How
border?
about the last year?
All the
Wait,
Hispanic-
60 Minutes is not watching us?
I mean,
wait a minute.
Maybe they should, and they wouldn't be so tone deaf, because I was just at the border. Mostly all of the people, probably 90% of the people that I talked to at the border last week were Hispanic, and they don't like what's happening. Then you got the Breakfast Club on Friday doing interviews back and forth, and they said, look, we got to give Greg Abbott credit. We didn't think it was an issue until it hit our own backyard. Now everyone all across the country is
Talking
feeling
about
the same
Charlemagne?
thing. Charlemagne the guy, yeah.
On the radio, of that big number, 8.1 million projected for 2024, an estimated 2 million of those will be high priority cases. People who should be deported, or those with criminal records or pending stuff. So it's like, these numbers are so gigantic. This is why, it was a couple of weeks ago, the number one issue on the Democrat side was, keeping democracy alive. Now, the Democrats have caught up with the Republicans, and the number one issue, given the fact that, we're talking about it, everybody's talking about it, Charlemagne's talking about it, it's the border and it's migration.
What's crazy is when you look at those numbers to see they've more than doubled since Biden has taken office. It was more than 3 million in 2020, if we put those numbers up again.
In 2019.
And can we see those numbers
2020.
again? 2020. It was 2020. See, 3.3 million.
Right.
And then it continues to go up. Look at this past year, 6.2 million, and then 8.1 million.
It's crazy.
That's 5 million more.
Do you have a country
And the Democrats going to say, no, we're going to put this on Republicans for walking away with a bipartisan bill.
That just doesn't work.
I don't think so. If you look at the Wall Street Journal, the former president's up by 2, Fox News up by 2, Siena poll has Trump up by 4, and the CBS News YouGov has Trump up by 4.
CBS has Trump at 52 and Biden at 48%.
Yep.
If the election were today.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.